Hello everybody, it's Jen, Scrappina Creations. Welcome back to another card video. I was lucky enough to meet the owner of the new stamp company Trinity Stamps while I was at Creativation in January 2019. She was absolutely lovely and I fell in love with her stamps. She gave me a couple of her stamp sets to share with all of you, so this cake one is super adorable. I'm going to be making a card with that later this month. This is a new release for February. It's called Mr. Snailman. It's absolutely adorable. I'm going to be creating a card with it today. And she also gave me these sequins packs. The hearts are called Skip a Beat, and the iridescent ones are called Soapy Bubbles, and they have to be some of the prettiest sequins I've ever seen. So I am going to be giving away those sequin packs today, as well as the card that I'm making. So all you need to do is be a subscriber, leave a comment below letting me know if you like these stamps as much as I do, and I encourage you to go check out Trinity Stamps on their Instagram and YouTube channel. I will leave all the links to their social media below. So now we'll jump into making the card. So I'm stamping out the mailbox and our Mr. Snailman with his envelopes and packages. You'll notice here that I'm masking out the grass tufts for both of these images. I knew I wanted to use some blues and some pinks and some browns for this card, and I really didn't want to bring in any greens. So I'm masking those off so that I can create a bottom for our images on my own. At this point I didn't quite know what I was going to do, but as I move forward with the card, I just do a simple shading underneath the two and kind of make it look like he's crawling along on a sidewalk. So I went ahead and stamped out the images onto some full sheet Post-it note paper here so I can do a little bit of ink blending for the background. I'm just going to do a soft kind of halo effect around the images using my Distress Oxide in Tumbled Glass. I'm using my makeup brushes here that I purchased off of Amazon. I love the soft effect that these makeup brushes give. And this is just going to provide a little bit of a background so our images can really pop off the page, but I wanted this card to have a lot of white space. So I did speed this up quite a bit. I'm only using a little bit of ink at a time just to make sure that I don't get any globs of ink on the background. So I'm pulling up my masks now and I'm going to stamp out these little hearts that come in the stamp set. It's so cute. I could have done this before I did my background, but I really didn't want to go through fussy cutting all of those little hearts out. So the background is light enough that it's not going to pick up much of the color once I color them. So I'm starting off with my pinks for the card. So I'm using R89 as my darkest. My two midtones are going to be R85 and R83. And then my lightest color is going to be R81. Now, these hearts in particular are very tiny. So you can see here I'm barely dabbing the tip of my markers onto the paper. I don't want them to bleed outside of the lines. So I'm doing the flag on the mailbox and all the hearts in this pink color. I'm also going to do the present in the same pink color palette. So I'm using my darkest marker here just to map out the shadows. Now because the present kind of tilts inward, I want to make sure that there's a shadow on either side to make it look a little bit rounded there. Of course, there'd be a shadow under the top of the box and then under the bow. So once I lay the darkest, then I'm going to come in with my two midtones, leaving only a small bit for the lightest color for my highlight. I love the soft blue background with this pink color combination. So I'm just going to finish up the tiny hearts here and then I'm going to move on to my blues. So I'm going to color the mailbox and the snail's little postman hat here in the blues. My darkest color is B99, and then I'm coming in with two midtones, B97 and B95, and then my lightest is B93. Now most of the darkest color will be on the mailbox, but I did add just a tiny bit to the little postman hat as well, which I think is super adorable. I'm just going to color that up, and then I'm going to move on to the browns. So for the browns, I'm using E23, E35, E53, and E51. So this will be for the head and tail of our little snail here. So I'm putting the shading to either side of the shell and also underneath the hat where the hat would cast a shadow. I'm going to use the same colors for the stick of the mailbox here, just so that I'm keeping consistency throughout the card. For the shell, I'm going to add some darker browns. So I'm using E29, E27, E25, and E23. So again, using my darkest marker to lay out the shadows here. So there's going to be shadows under the presents and under the envelopes. And then I want some definition between the various rings on his shell. So I'm going to add some of the darkest color to the bottom of those rings. Also, where the opening would be for his neck and his tail would also be darker. Once I get that down, I'm going to add the next marker just around those areas and go down the colors from my darkest to lightest here, just pulling out that blending more and more. And I did use the darkest marker for the little circles on top of the snail. For the envelopes, I want to keep them mostly white. I am using my C3, C1, and C00. I'm only adding a little bit of color here just to give some shading to those white areas. The C5 I'm going to use for some shadowing underneath my images. So I'm not using that for the envelopes or the little tag area on the mailbox. So I'm using the C5, as I said, here for the shadows. I sort of wanted to make it look like he was on a sidewalk, or at least give you the illusion of that. So I'm going in over top of the C5 with the C3, pulling that out a little bit further, then the C1, and then I will also add in the C00. Once I get this done, I'm going to work on my sentiment. There's a couple sentiments in here. So there's a to and a from, and then there's the words sending, hooray for, and then snail mail. And also there's a sentiment that says paper hug enclosed, which I think would be really cute for the envelope. So I'm just using my VersaFine black onyx ink here to stamp the snail mail. I wanted to get this down first so I could place the smaller hooray for where I wanted to. I thought in the beginning I was going to have it centered, and then I decided that I actually wanted it over a little bit to the left. So I'm going to stamp that down really quickly, and then I'll work on getting the card on the card base and add some final details just to really bring our little character alive. Then I'm going to come in with my white gel pen. I'm going to add quite a bit of detailing to the snail, also some detail to the present and the mailbox, and I'm going to add a line on the hearts as well. This will just make them appear shiny, which gives a really nice effect. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, just finishing up here with some Nuvo drops in White Blizzard over the hearts. Let me know what you think of the new stamp company, Trinity Stamps. I'm so excited to be working with them, and I want to thank them for providing these stamps so that I can show you what they have to offer the stamp market. Have a great day, everyone. I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.